bumping away, streaming for all to see. Cachorro, Cachorro. There's a dawn superheroes day today for you and me. Cachorro, Cachorro.
What's up, Cachorro? It's time for another Acolyte video, and boy, has this video series been causing some fireworks on my channel. So I don't get lots of views. I'm a tiny little YouTuber. I really haven't had too many people go out of their way to even hit the dislike button. But man, my last two videos have 2 dislikes each, which... yeah, it don't sound like much, but I only get like 4 likes. How dare you not like this show? Think the show's okay. People are mad because I gave a show a 5.5, which is barely above average, just because I like some of the concepts that they could have done in the episode. There's some cool stuff in the episode I liked. I gave it that extra little 0.5 because there's things you could have done better to made this episode. The episode would have been great, really good. So let's see if I imagine it's probably the same 2 people that dislike both videos because they're mad because I told them to be in babies. How dare you not like this show? How dare you like this show? It's bad. It's okay. One episode was like one kind of average episode, one slightly above average, and 2 episodes that were good. Well, that all changed. So I just finally got around to watching episode 5, and this is the best episode of the show so far. We get some fighting. We get some reveals. Some are not that surprising, but I'm still happy with it. Let's get this rating out of the way. It's pissing people off. 8. Going to 8. We're giving this one to 8. The highest. That's it. Yes, folks. I don't give things 9s and 10s. You got to be out of your mind good to get a 9 or 10. I think the only 10s I have given has been Godzilla -1, Dune 2. That's all I can think of so far for this year. Godzilla -1 technically would have been last year. That's the ones that are popping in my head right now that I've given 10s to. So yes, in my world, it's not a 10 or a 1. It's a 1 to 10. Means it could be 3, it could be a 4, it could be a 5, it could be 6. So first off, to be a 1, it has to be something that there's only a few things I've ever given a 1 to easy also. One of them I have to rewatch again for the Shark tier list. It means you just can't. It's like turn off the movie bad. Like I said, there's like some Amazon Prime stuff that I've watched that I've actually turned off because it just was unwatchable. People might say this about this show, but I've made it through all the episodes, so fourth there, it's over a 1. Then 2 and 3 are bad, and I mean, usually the lowest you're going to see, I'll most likely ever go is a 3 or 4. Just to give you a heads up. Because, I mean, to be under that, you have to be really atrociously bad. I think Jaws 4, I may have given a 4 to. I'd have to go back and watch that to see where it is. It's definitely the bottom of the Shark tier list, which we're going to get back to short. I'm working on it. Okay, I promise I'm working on it. I'm going to start it back up. So, yes, this is 8. It's the best episode of the show so far. I'm not claiming it's a perfect episode. There's some story stuff I didn't like. There's some other things I could have tweaked. The dialogue, so I don't think was too bad in this one. I think that, for the most part, the dialogue I thought was okay in this one. That's definitely been the low point in some of the other episodes. I'm sure there's some Star Wars YouTubers. We all know who the big one is. That's probably whining the most about it. And he's probably whining about some other stuff about it, but I think it makes sense. We had some good battles. I would have liked a little bit more on some of it, but yeah, we had some great lightsaber battles. Some really cool stuff with lightsabers, which I'm sure that certain YouTuber and his buddies are going to also complain about. But you got to reinvent. That's what you got to do. You got to invent stuff. So I don't care. You got to try and top other stuff that's been done before you. Sorry if it more advanced. I mean, we've seen plenty of times where shit in the prequels is way cooler than the ships and stuff like that. They're way fancier, cooler ships than we've seen in the original trilogy because times changing. George Lucas was able to create shit that looked cool, like the Naboo super shiny ship. Yeah, you don't see that kind of cool shit in the original trilogy. Everything's more bulky and stuff like that because that's what could be made at the time. You got to respect technology. They're able to finally come up with cool stuff. We've seen lots of really cool stuff in like the Old Republic had. So yes, so we'll get to that more. We'll get to what I'm talking about there in a minute. Yeah, so we had some cool battle stuff. The story. One part of the story I'm really interested in. The other one's kind of like, okay, we're kind of doing your thing here, but it is what it is. They exceeded what I expected for this episode. I had gone into, after the way the last one ended, I was like, okay, for everything to be right, it's what I know what had to happen. And I was like, all right, we have 8 Jedi, 3 of them are main stars, and 5 of them are no names. So these are red shirt fodders, right? So I had my expectations on what I expected, and like I said, they succumbed that and overdid it. They went further than I expected them to go, especially with 3 episodes left, right? I mean, I figured one of them was a flashback episode, but wow, definitely a lot of change here, and I don't know where we're going either. All right, so now let's get into the breakdown, shall we? So, bam. It's an 8. Sorry if you don't like it. I did. I really, really liked this episode. If you don't like it, that's fine. That's cool. There's 0 political woke stuff in here in this episode for you to whine about. I'm sure they'll find a way to. There's nothing about lesbians and gays and stuff like that, so you trans crazy people can relax. You're still mad about there being 2 lesbians in one episode. A 5 episode show. How dare they? Your opinion don't matter. If that's what your problem with the show was that episode, was that part of that episode, I don't care about your opinion. Kick rocks. Sorry. So, they open up. We see Osha got like tossed to the side like a sack of potatoes. We open up with her waking up, and she's here, and you can hear lightsabers clashing. So she's starting to like stumble her way over, and she falls, and we see our first no-name Jedi dead. Okay, well, we'll get to this whole part, then I'll go back and talk about it. So she stands back up, and she's looking around, and she keeps hearing the clashing, and she looks so she can see from her point of view where she's looking to, and there's these, and we see the Sith guy just fighting all these Jedi. He's just smacking them around, pushing them around, using armor to block them with. I mean, this battle looks really freaking cool. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. He's like smacking around and dodging them. He's doing something that like disarms their lightsaber. I'm not exactly. First, I thought he was breaking lightsabers, but he has something that shorts a lightsaber for it because they were able to turn it back on. So I'm not exactly sure what he was doing, but I like that. That was kind of cool. So we see him. Then he kills another no-name Jedi. And then he ends up hurting Jord, who's down on the ground. Then he stabs another no-name Jedi, uses the Force, and pulls the other no-name Jedi onto the same blade. So he's like stabbing 2 of them at the same time. That was fucking awesome. Where are we at? 8 minutes in. Okay, I can say that word now. That was pretty fucking awesome. And then he's going over to finish off Jord. And that's when Osha tries to shoot him with a stun gun, and it doesn't have any effect on him. And he starts going after Osha. All right, so that's now. I don't like the starting out with the OSHA waking up thing, just going from her point of view, because we killed another Jedi off screen. The first no-name Jedi was dead, just laying there dead. And then we've seen the fight from her point of view, which I would rather like seen the fight from a more closer point of view, where we're watching this, because this fight looked really fucking cool. I mean, he's like, blah, boom, 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 bam, defend you, power, push, boom, 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 defend you, push, boom, boom, boom. It's like he's like taking on like 4 freaking Jedi. So this is some good. This was a hell of a good. This was a good duel. This right here. This guy was like fucking rocking. So I would have liked to focus. I would like to see some better, closer up views of that battle instead of just an OSHA point of view shot. So that part was a little disappointing. So he's chasing OSHA. He's getting ready to get her. And Soul comes in and rescues her. And then he talks, and you hear him go, Master Soul. So yes. Alright, it's a dude's voice. So everyone, this could be a woman. It was a dude, okay? It was a dude. And you could definitely, first could be an option that, he's using a voice modulator, but then there's parts where you're seeing his arms, and you're like, yeah, that's a fucking dude, because this dude is stacked, okay? He's built. He has got some biceps. This guy is well in shape. I would love to be in shape like this guy was. So Soul stops him. Then we cut back to where we cut back and May comes out of the house. Well, she grabs the Wookiee's lightsaber and comes out of the house, and she's met by the Padawan Jekko. So Jekko tries to place her under arrest, and they start having a little fight. So we have them two are fighting. So Soul stops the guy, and then George shows up, and he orders George to get the civilian to the ship, talking about OSHA. So George's like the little rule we got. He's the rule, the play by the rule. So all right, well, let's go. We gotta go. You're the civilian. I mean, really, it's worded kind of weirdly, but it would make sense for the Jedi to say, "Hey, get her out of here. She's in danger," because he doesn't want her to get killed. This guy's already killed like 5 Jedi. So get the hell out of here. 6 Jedi technically, counting the Wookiee. So this guy's on a Jedi killing spree. So we got their battle going back and forth, and the dude's kind of like doing some really cool right around his mouth, taking shots at Soul, and I'm really feeling it. This dude's like being really good and creepy. Oh, I should take my helmet. Like, why don't you show your face? And the whole time, so Soul is trying to question me about being what kind of Jedi are you that you don't show your apprentice face. So Soul has no clue what he is. For the people whining, and I guess people are going to whine about that too. Soul has no clue what he is. Then we see a part where George and OSHA are talking, and she asks him, and he also has no clue what this is. So I'm sure the Jedi would know what a Sith is. Not if there's no reason for these Jedi to know what a Sith is. It's not like the Jedi like, all right, it's time to do your Jedi 101 class. All right, today we're Jedi history class. We're going to teach you about the Sith in today's class. If you could turn your books to page 101, this is Darth Bane. Here back further, this is Revan, who was a Jedi who turned into a Sith Lord, and all this. The Sith were so out of the picture that outside of the High Council, the other people, the pleb Jedi have no recognition of what a Sith would be. Qui-Gon knew, because Qui-Gon was a former member of the Jedi Council, if I remember correctly. I believe he was supposed to be part of their council, and he stepped down because of but he just either stepped down or they kicked him out or something like that. I can't remember the backstory. There was some backstory where he was part of the council and then stepped down because of his beliefs or something like that. Or too radical. Or something like that, to my knowledge. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was part of the council at one point. So Saul's like, hey, why don't you take your face off? Let me see you. Guess why? So you can get in my head and see my thoughts? I don't think so. The Sith guy kind of reminds me of Negan from The Walking Dead because he's kind of wisecracking back at the Jedi and stuff. And I some people might complain about it, but I liked it. I liked how he was just cutting the Jedi some shit. So we get to in the other fight, Jekko she's not fighting. Neither isn't fighting with a lightsaber. There goes May's fighting. I don't know if Jekko I guess lost her lightsaber and she picked it, or she just wasn't using her lightsaber against May. She was trying to apprehend her. So as they're fighting, she ends up getting her in handcuffs. So Saul and the Jedi and the Sith, they fight, and then Sith he does something to make Saul kind of like defected, and then when Saul comes up, he's gone. He disappeared. So then Jekko finally gets May in handcuffs. Out pops the Sith Lord and starts attacking her. So he's attacking her, and then stuff like that, and then they fight to a point where he does his little disappearing act on her too. And then next thing we know, he's now showing up where May is. So now he wants to kill May because she betrayed him. It's like, you betrayed me. We had a deal. Now you gotta die. And she's like, I'm sorry. And she ends up calling out to Osha, who hears it. And they're in the trees where the bugs were. And now the bugs are off the trees, are all in the sky. So they're like all panicked. Oh, the bugs are right there. We gotta be careful not to attract the bugs. They showed the bug scene from the opening prequel of Soul shooting the bugs, so I knew the bugs were going to come back into the episode, or else they wouldn't have mentioned that part. Wouldn't have showed that in the previously on section. She's like, well, we gotta go back and help him. He's going to kill them all. So they decide to go back to help. And so he's getting ready to kill May, take out May, and then Jekko and Soul show up to save her, and they start fighting together. There's a part where he knocks Soul back, and he's fighting with Jekko, who's picked up the Wookiee's lightsaber, so she was trying to use two lightsabers. Oh no, she was using it in the first part. She was trying to do two lightsabers, and he destroyed one of them. So she's fighting, and he takes the bottom half of his lightsaber out, which turns into like a lightsaber dagger. And you can see her from behind, and you just see ho ho ho, stab her like boom 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 boom, Wolverine style, like pow pow pow. She's dead. X-23 is dead. Did not see that coming. It's like, whoa, shit, they killed the Padawan. That's gonna be Osha's love interest. You shouldn't have. Well, no, they're not, because she dead. She dead. She got stabbed like 3 times. She's got him in the heart, in each lung. So yeah, so she gone. So that's when Osha shows up and sees that, and they're like, "Oh wow, no, Jekko." It sounds like you killed a child. It's like, oh, I think at this point, oh yeah, they also kind of knocked this. So while those two were fighting, they knocked his face mask off. And it's Quirmir, whatever his name is, Quirmir. The guy that's been kind of like helping May, who a lot of people thought was going to be the Sith. So it didn't surprise anybody. It is him. And now we see him, and he's all darker now. Now before he was kind of like playing the bumbling idiot help. So now he's more cunning. He's a little smart ass. He's a little dark. It's like, you killed a child. It's like, you brought her. She's like, you and your kids. So he's like, the way he's doing this, some people might, I can see some people not liking it, but reminds me of Clone Wars style Darth Maul. With Phantom Menace, obviously they didn't let Darth Maul, Ray Parker, talk, so because he wasn't much of a voice actor, so he got like a couple 3 lines. And then the Clone Wars, they had Sam Witwer doing it, so they had a good voice talent doing it. So he was like talking up a storm. He was running his mouth. He would kind of mind fuck with the Ahsoka and Kenobi and stuff. whoever he was fighting. So this kind of reminded me of that a little bit. So he's kind of like, it's kind of wisecracking, smart mouth, and talking shit. I digged it. I liked it. I really liked the way he. So this character, right for that bubbly nitty character, is like, all right, I kind of like this guy. He's pretty cool. So then George shows up and joins in their fighting, and something he does. So he ends up going to hand combat, and he gets behind George, and he just snapped. Well, first there was a side where he got a hold of May, and he was holding his lightsaber to May's head, saying, "Hey, don't do anything. I'll kill her." So Soul being the good guy, he's got like, even though May's bad, he's kind of still feel bad about the whole thing, so he doesn't want her to die. So he puts down his lightsaber. That's when George jumps in and starts a fighting, and then he gets George in the same position, and he just snaps his neck. He did. Another main Jedi dead. So this guy is now killed 7 of the Jedi that came down, 8 if you count the Wookiee. He massacred everybody. I at least expected Soul, Jord, and Jekka. Whatever I might be saying. I don't know if I'm saying their names right. I have to look them up and see their names. I expected them 3 to survive. I thought that, he's going to kill all the no-name Jedis. And the 3 main ones would survive. Fuck no! He killed 2 of them. Soul has to stay alive because there's some more hints of Soul, why don't you tell her what you did, your darkness and stuff like that. So there's going to be backstory that's going to be revealed with Soul, so you have to keep him alive. Because there's obviously more that happened to the Witch family. The Jedi killed him. Or it's going to be presumed the Jedi killed him. So obviously he has to live for that reason. To get that reveal. So he's killing everybody. And there's a part, then Soul gets him unarmed. And he has him. He's getting ready to strike him down with a lightsaber. And Osha stops him. Because it's not the Jedi way to kill a defenseless person. Which also kind of goes back to the Force once again. Oh, so while they're kind of talking, and so it's like, what are you? You're not a Jedi. He goes, I have no name. It's like, some would refer to me as a Sith. So he actually tells Soul what he is, that he's a Sith. Soul doesn't seem to react to it, seeming like Soul doesn't, is it positive? Maybe he does know what a Sith is, maybe he doesn't. It's not really clear if Soul recognizes that. So he's kind of going to say, hey, I just want to exist. I just want to have an acolyte. It's because Sith always want to have a thing. So which just makes sense. Sith, always have the thing of 2, master and apprentice. So he wants to have an apprentice. I just want to exist. And now that you all have seen my face, now you all have to die so that I can exist. Because my existence is not allowed. The Jedi make all the rules. So he's like, just creepy, man. He's just like, matter of fact, I have to kill you all. So I really like the whole change in this guy's character. He's kind of, trying to be a little funny a little bit still, but it works to me. It works for me. Because I like the way he's portrayed him. Not everyone's going to be Palpatine. So we get to where Soul's getting ready to slice him down, and Osha yells, "You can't stop!" And Israel's like, "Oh yeah, you got your rules. You can't take me out because I'm unarmed. Jedi's in their rules." So he he grabs his lightsaber again, and then meanwhile, like I said, it's dark, so they're worried about the lights attracting the bugs that are all in the treetops. So Osha says, "Sorry, Pip." So she rips off Pip's head. Turns on his flashlight. I thought it was going to be a lightsaber at first. Dude's like, no way, Pips are a lightsaber? But it was like a flashlight, and then she attaches it to the dude's back, and then the bugs all start swarming down and attacking him because he got a big bright light because they're attracted to the light. So they all swarm down and pick him up and carry him off. May tried to get away, and Osha used the stun gun on May. So this is, like I said, I will criticize what I don't like. So he gets carried away by the bugs, and Osha's like, "Yo, what's that mean? I shouldn't trust you. What does it mean? I shouldn't trust you? What does he mean by that? Huh? What were you talking about?" Which is a weird thing to be asking at that exact moment. And Soul was even like, "I'll tell you on the ship." We got all our dead Jedis around us. We just can follow some crazy guy, and right now it's, what do you mean I shouldn't trust you? What do you mean by that? That was probably something that I guess they had a push that to keep developing that storyline, but that felt like a weird spot to have that conversation right there. But so she's questioning about it, and next thing you know, Soul gets stunned, and it's May now. You see the stun go flying off, and it flies into May's hand, and she stuns Soul. Then we cut to then it's like now dawn, and they've completely moved to this whole other area, which is really weird because they transition to another area doesn't really make sense. So they're somewhere else, like on a cliffs, like up on a mountain. It looks more, and now we have the two sisters kind of going back and forth with each other. And May's like, everything's about you. And it's like they took you from me. They brainwashed you and all this stuff, and I just want us to be together. And now May's pretty much obsessed with having Osha back. Because if you remember May as a kid, she believed that her and Osha would always be. She wanted her sister to be right there with her at all times. She's very possessive. So they do a hug, and Osha has a tear, but then she tries to start apprehending May. He's like, you broke the law. You're a bad person. You killed people. So they have a little bit of a fight. And then May does a force push on her, knocks her off a little ledge, and she's out cold. And she's like, you never learn how to block. She takes a lightsaber and cuts her hair. Which she does, like, she's gonna swap places. It's it's the Bella twins, twin magic time. We see Soul kind of wake up, looking around what's going on, and then all of a sudden we see fake Osha walk in and like, hey, Soul, where's May? She ran off. Oh, here, let's get out of here. So they go off to the ship, start going to the ship. Then we see stuff falling from the. Then we cut to another scene where stuff's falling from the sky. We see the pip thing, the little pip head fall to the ground. Some other stuff fall, and then all of a sudden we see the Sith guy come down to the ground and start walking off. So they're showing that the bugs didn't kill him. And then the best news of all the episode is Basil, whatever, shows up, sees the Sith guy walking off, sees the pip, he grabs Pip's head. So Basil survives! We see the other Soul and them walk past the sound people to the ship. They're walking, and they're like walking on the ship, kind of, not really talking. So you see them walk by. So obviously May's going to go try and assassinate Soul, I guess, at some point, or trying to do something with Soul. But Basil's on the ship, and he's holding Pip. And you see him kind of like peeking around the corner, kind of following him, and he's smelling. So you can see it's showing that Basil knows it's not Osha. He knows it's May. Cut back to the Sith guy going around, walking by the Jedi. He starts throwing some poem. And he comes across Osha's injured. Osha's got an injury in her side, so I guess the Force pushed injured her somehow, because I don't remember her actually taking it. Any kind of saber hit or anything like that. So he's like saying some poem, and he takes like his cloak thing, and he covers her up. I'm assuming he knows it's Osha. So he's like, he said, he's like quoting, he's like doing some kind of poetry that, I don't know, I hope it's not, it can't be obviously a real poem, so, but he's saying something, like some little poetry speech thing. So it's like, well, I hope you have to realize that that's the other twin and knowing that something's going on. And we fade out. So, I'm sure there will be plenty of people that will be whining about dialogue, but I personally found the dialogue in this episode fine. I didn't have any major tiffs with it. If you're going to claim the dialogue in this is bad, then you're going to claim the dialogue is bad in every Star Wars thing that's ever made, including George Lucas stuff. I'm sorry. Attack of the Clones is on par for some of the worst dialogue in history. Some of this dialogue has been bad, but it's on par with Attack of the Clones, which people have started defending it because I was trying to imitate this. The Padme Anakin love romance is the most horribly cringiest. I mean, Hallmark movies are better than that. It's like this is they're supposed to be falling in love. This is some corny shit. This episode is definitely better than a lot of the dialogue you've gotten in the prequels. So even if you do have any gripes about this dialogue for the most part was fine. I like the Sith guy. Even though it turned out to be whoever we thought, but I think I liked his new portrayal, how he now went to his serious mode and was pretty dark, creepy, smart-assy. Instead, we get another tease of the Soul backstory. So, pretty much the big things is the Soul. I want to find out more about the Sith dude. And obviously, get the Soul backstory. Was it the Jedi that did it? Those two storylines are probably better than the twin sister one. May's up to something bad, but they've kind of like she started during this whole good turn, then they tried to arrest her and all this stuff, and then OSHA turned on her, so she went back to this. So it looks like she still is bad. So not sure. They'll probably try and turn her good at the end. Probably still, I wouldn't be surprised by if they did, but. I mean, the bad thing is that they try. I mean, as much as people like to say, they try and stay PC. They don't take chances. I feel like this show's taking a few more chances than most stuff they kind of do. They try and cookie cutter things, even with Marvel. And then people bitch, and that's what people bitch about. So I feel May will probably have some kind of turn, most likely. If they don't, and they have to kill her, that would be awesome. I think that would be. Clearly, I mean, she's got some dark side ties, so they got to. Where are they going to go on the ship? Well, May makes her move on the ship, because I can't see them taking May, pretending to be OSHA, back to Coruscant. To interact with, like, the whole Jedi Order, because that feels like that would be too many people to find out there. Well, like I said, May still doesn't use a red lightsaber or anything like that, so she's could be and easily just a fallen Force user. Rogue Jedi exist. So right now, the only person that knows he is a Sith is Sol. He did not reveal that to either of the sisters. So I don't think May. I'm not sure if May knows it's Sith. Does she ever call herself a Sith? I don't know if she's ever referred to anything as Sith before. So May herself might not. I think they did say something. I think at the very end of the first episode, when he was doing a speech, he may. I don't know if he said. I can't remember if he said Sith or just called her an Acolyte or. So he may have said something then. So she might know the term. But clearly shows that the Jedi are so enriched in their power that they have no inkling that a Sith could show up. They have no idea what a Sith is. Like I said, I thought he was some kind of weird Jedi that didn't play by the rules. I mean, Gorg said he doesn't fight by normal standards. So a lot of them were just thinking he was some fallen Jedi. I don't know what he was. Which is perfectly fine. Yeah, the Jedi would know what a Sith is. I get that, but you're allowed to play with things a little bit. Sometimes you gotta give people, you can't lock all this stuff in. First off, if you want to go on it, all the stuff they set up with the Sith, in the long run, is technically kind of dumb. The Sith being gone for millennia, well, George put this, when he, by writing that kind of put the fork in it. It's like, well, if you can't go back and do any prequel stuff now, George, because you just pretty much destroyed that. Oh, there's only two Sith, a master and an apprentice. Well, now you also fucked yourself, because now you can't have more bad guys in the area yet, because you've already had the masters and the apprentice of everything. Sidious and Maul, Sidious with Dooku's, Sidious with Vader. Even though you've had Maul, which I even say, I think Lucas. Well, technically, that was a book, and everybody likes, George Lucas respect all the. And I know Star Wars Theory like to show this little thing about Lucas admitting. First off, Lucas admitted he doesn't read any of the expanded universe books. He's never read any of the expanded universe books. That when he would do something though, he would try to keep them in mind and try to honor them. Like, see, that means George would have respected all that stuff. No, that's called PC. That's George saying, "Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I don't read the books, but I would totally try and respect them, sure." Because he wasn't going to come out and say, "Yeah, if something gets in my way, I don't give a shit. I'm going to change it. My stuff takes precedence." If George needed to retcon something, he would retcon something. In fact, George has made many retcons. So they can make an animated show. They gave Anakin a Padawan, who they had to make sure they had disappeared by the third freaking movie. They have Anakin messing so much with R2 and C-3PO. Obviously, he created C-3PO. R2's his droid. But he doesn't recognize him as when he's Darth Vader. So, hey, that's not my droid. That's another thing I always thought was stupid putting him in it. But back, more focus is on the having someone come up with this rule of two. Well, he's ran. So when they came back and did the Clone Wars show, they needed bad guys for the Clone Wars show. Granted, that you flush out Grievous more. But Jedi, Sith-wise, all you had was Dooku and Palpatine, who nobody really knew who Sidious was still. So you needed some new, fresh bad guys for your Jedi to fight. So in comes Asajj Ventress, later replaced by Savage Opress. They're Sith apprentices. They're supposed to be Dooku's apprentices. Who's not supposed to have apprentices because he's already the apprentice, the Palpatine. So you're flirting with the rules right there. Then under Vader, they wanted to give, they expand Vader out. They wanted to give Vader, his little team as well, the Sith Inquisitors. You're creating new ways of having Sith without them being Sith. They're not Sith, they're Inquisitors. Yeah. Former Jedi. Turned dark. That's a Sith. So he's always played around with some of the rules. So it's okay if other people play around with the rules too. You can't just say it's okay when one guy does it and then yell about other people, "Oh, you're breaking the stuff." But, so it's very plausible that Jedi would not have been taught about Sith or learned about, because they have no reason to even expect a Sith or to be looking for a Sith. And that the Sith may be, the knowledge of Sith stuff could be kept to the higher council. The people that really would need to know that kind of stuff. Keep in mind that also Mundy disagreed with Qui-Gon when Qui-Gon called it a Sith as well. So I'm perfectly cool with them not recognizing what he was. So that keeps your lore. I mean, most of the people who are lying about this stuff didn't even care about the High Republic books or even read the High Republic books. I mean, I don't do a lot of reading, so I haven't read them all bit. But you didn't care about the High Republic, then you shouldn't care. So if they made stuff like that happen, they're keeping that no one knows it's a Sith Lord alive. We'll see how they end the show. Soul, I think, is going to die. I do think Soul will die by the end of the show. Do you expect that? The Fallen Master kind of thing. The Fallen Master is kind of always a Star Wars thing. It's killing off the Masters. Kenobi and Qui-Gon. So they do like to kill Masters off in the shows. So I do think Soul will die in the show. I mean, that's a lot of speculation stuff. Like I said, I can't see him going back to court. Now, they have to do some really good writing if they take it back to Coruscant. So I feel like May's got to make her move on the ship. Basil's going to out her or something like that on the ship. That's going to cause something to happen on the ship. Maybe the ship will crash. Something along those lines. I did think the episode would stretch out the battle scene a little bit more. Maybe I thought that would take, like I said, he blipped through those 5 no-name Jedi, like in the first, I think he got them all dead before it actually, like in the part, because it comes on, does the previously on, then starts the show, and then it does the title thing, then it goes to like the title splash. All the no-name Jedi were dead by like the title splash. So like he ran through those no-name Jedi and like lickety split. So the rest of us, so. But yeah, this was definitely a very solid episode. I mean, I'm sure people will find the typical crowds are going to find their way to complain about it, but I really had no issues with this episode at all. I said it was an 8. I really liked it. So yeah, sorry if you disagree with me. That's your opinion, and it's whatever. Until next time, Cachorro out.